Think outside the box. Come on, we've all heard it a million times, right? It's one of those phrases that can feel kinda, well, like a tired cliché. But what if we could dust it off and turn it into a powerful, practical tool for creativity? So let's get our hands dirty, crack open this old phrase, and rebuild it into something you can actually use. You with me? Let's go.
You know the feeling. We've all been there. You're just staring at a problem, you've tried all the usual solutions, and nothing. You're just stuck. That feeling of being creatively cornered, that is the exact reason this idiom exists. It's a totally universal experience, and today, we're going to find the way out. All right, so to think outside the box, we first have to figure out what the box actually is. And it's not just some random shape. It's a really powerful metaphor for all those invisible walls we build around our own thinking. You know, walls made of habits and assumptions and rules we might not even realize are there.
Yeah, this really breaks it down. The box isn't a physical thing. It's built from our mental blueprints, the traditional ideas we grow up with, the rules we're taught to follow, and the mindsets that keep us on that familiar, well-worn path. I mean, think about a standard assembly line. It's super efficient, right? But it's not designed to invent something totally new. And that's the trade-off. These boundaries create order, but man, they can be poison for real innovation.
Okay, so let's just pause for a second. Quick gut check to make sure we're on the same page. When we're talking about the box, we're not talking about your budget or the four walls of your office, right? We're talking about something way more powerful. Yep, we're talking about conventional limits and traditional ideas. That's the box. And that's the key takeaway here. Breaking out isn't about creating chaos. It's about consciously looking at those traditions and limits and asking, hey, do these still make sense? Okay, so now that we've defined the prison, let's talk about the escape plan. What does it really mean to think outside of it? You know, this definition really nails it. It's all about getting a fresh perspective. Think of it like this. If you're out hiking, the trail is the conventional path. It's safe, it's easy. But the absolute best view? That might be from a little hill just off to the side that isn't even on the map. Thinking outside the box is about taking that intentional detour to see what everyone else on the main path is missing. But here's the thing. This is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Like any tool, it's super powerful when you use it right, but it can be useless or even cause problems in the wrong situation. So let's figure out when to pull this tool out of the toolkit. Here's the playbook, plain and simple. On the left, you see where this kind of thinking is amazing. Brainstorming new ideas, designing something from scratch, or trying to solve a problem that has everyone completely stumped. But on the right, that's when you absolutely want to stay in the box. Come on, when you're filing your taxes or, a pilot is flying a plane, you don't want creativity, you want precision. You want them to follow the rules. It's all about knowing the difference between a moment that calls for invention and one that calls for following the plan. Okay, theory is great, but let's see what this actually looks like in the real world. So, imagine a marketing team for a new eco-friendly product. They're doing everything by the book, but they've just hit a wall. Man, you can almost feel the frustration here, can't you? They're stuck deep inside the box, they're running through the same old checklist of ideas, just focusing on the obvious stuff, how good the product is for the environment, and they're getting nowhere. This is that moment of creative burnout. And here it is, the pivot. This is that moment where someone decides to step outside that conventional boundary. Instead of just talking about being green, they ask, what if it's also about saving green? They're looking at the exact same product, but from a totally fresh, unconventional angle. And that's the breakthrough. By stepping outside that narrow sustainability box, they didn't just find a new marketing angle. They found a whole new audience, people who care about their wallets just as much as they care about the planet. And that's the real power here. Sometimes the best idea isn't a new solution at all, but just a new way of looking at things. So to really make this idea stick, let's flip it around and look at the opposite. Because sometimes staying inside the box is exactly what you're supposed to do. All these phrases, follow the book, play it safe, stick to the script, they're all about the value of conformity, procedure, and reliability. They represent all those situations where the box isn't a prison at all. It's actually a proven system for success and safety. The real skill is knowing which situation you're in. So, look, we've mapped out the box, we've found the escape routes, and we've even learned when the box is actually our friend. Now comes the most important part, applying all this to your world. So let's land on this. Thinking outside the box isn't just some empty cliché. It's a choice. It's an active decision to question the default settings and to explore the unconventional. In your work, in your life, in your hobbies, there are boxes everywhere, defining the normal way of doing things. The question on this slide isn't just for now, it's for tomorrow and the day after. What box will you choose to break out of?